Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jasudhanandana Braja Janaranjana Jasudhanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajagacharya Astu Taras Sri Srimad His Divine Grace of Hare Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Swami the founder charge His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajagacharya Astu Taras Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Sanatana Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the sum of the devotees. All glories to the sum of the devotees. All glories to the sum of the devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Namo Om Vishnu Hare Krishna Padisthavale. Srimati Bhakti Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaudavani Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Naruttamam Deving Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Tyam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utama Shloke Tirbhavati Naishtaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 31, entitled The Movements of the Living Entities, text number 13. Yastatra baddha iva karmabhir āvṛtātmā. Yastatra baddha iva karmabhir āvṛtātmā. Bhūtendriyāśayamayīm avalambya māyām. Bhūtendriyāśayamayīm avalambya māyām. Āste viśuddham avikāram akhaṇḍa-bodham. Āste viśuddham avikāram akhaṇḍa-bodham. ātapyamāna-hṛdaye vasitaṁ namāmi. ātapyamāna-hṛdaye viśuddham namāmi. Yastvat Yasvatrabodha iva karmabhir āvṛtātmā bhūtendriyāśayamayīm avalambya māyām āste viśuddham avikāram akhaṇḍa-bodham ātapyamāna-hṛdaye vasitaṁ namāmi. Atra āvṛtātmā bhūtendriyāśayamayīm avalambya māyām āste viśuddham avikāram akhaṇḍa-bodham ātapyamāna-hṛdaye vasitaṁ namāmi. Atra baddha iva karmabhir āvṛtātmā aste viśuddham avikāram akhaṇḍa-bodham ātapyamāna-hṛdaye vasitaṁ namāmi. Ladies, go ahead. Yasvatra baddha iva karmabhir āvṛtātmā bhūtendriyāśayamayīm avalambya māyām aste viśuddham avikāram akhaṇḍa-bodham ātapyamāna-hṛdaye vasitaṁ namāmi. Ladies. Yastvatra baddha iva karmabhir āvṛtātmā Yastvatra baddha iva karmabhir āvṛtātmā bhūtendriyāśayamayīm avalambya māyām aste viśuddham avikāram akhaṇḍa-bodham ātapyamāna-hṛdaye vasitaṁ namāmi. Ya who to also sorry atra here bodha bound eva as if karmabhir by activities āvṛta covered ātmā the pure soul bhūta the gross elements indriya the senses āśaya the mind mayīm consisting of avalambya having fallen māyām into māyā āste remains viśuddham completely pure avikāram without change akhaṇḍa-bodham possessed of unlimited knowledge ātapyamāna repentant, ātapyamāna-hṛdaye, in the heart, avasitam, residing, namāmi, I offer my respectful obeisances. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. I, the pure soul appearing now bound by my activities, am lying in the womb of my mother by the arrangement of Māyā. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Him who is also here with me, but who is unaffected and changeless. He is unlimited, but He is perceived in the repentant heart. To Him I offer my respectful obeisances. Purport. As stated in the previous verse, the jiva soul says, I take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, constitutionally, the jiva soul is the subordinate servitor of the Supreme Soul, the Personality of Godhead. Both the Supreme Soul and the jiva soul are sitting in the same body as confirmed in the Upanishads. They are sitting as friends, but one is suffering and the other is aloof from suffering. In this verse it is said, viśuddham avikāram akhaṇḍa-bodham. The Supersoul is always sitting apart from all contamination. The living entity is contaminated and suffering because he has a material body. But that does not mean that because the Lord is also with him, he also has a material body. He is avikāram, changeless. He is always the same Supreme, but unfortunately the Mayavadi philosophers, because of their impure hearts, cannot understand that the Supreme Soul, the Super Soul, is different from the individual soul. It is said here, āvṛtātmā-hṛdaye vasitaṁ. He is in the heart of every living entity, but he is realized only by a pure soul who is repentant. The individual soul becomes repentant that he forgot his constitutional position, wanted to become one with his Supreme Soul, and tried his best to lord it over the material nature. He has been baffled and therefore he is repentant. At that time, the Super Soul, or the relationship between the Super Soul and the individual soul, is realized. As it is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, after many, many births, the knowledge comes to the conditioned soul that Vasudeva is great. He is master and he is Lord. The individual soul is the servant, and therefore he surrenders unto him. At that time he becomes a Mahatma, a great soul. Therefore, a fortunate living being who comes to this understanding, even within the womb of his mother, has his liberation assured. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmanitam Dina Tasmai Sigurve Namah. Ukam Guru Divachalam Pangam Langayate Grimyakiptam Vande Siguram Diratarna Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeshwaram. Translation again. I, the pure soul, appearing now bound by my activities, am lying in the womb of my mother by the arrangement of Māyā. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him who is also here with me, but who is unaffected and changeless. He is unlimited, but he is perceived in the repentant heart. To him I offer my respectful obeisances. So Srila Prabhupada has been so nicely commenting on the prayers that are being offered here by the suffering soul. And we can understand that this is one of the recommended devotional practices for the minute living being, and that is to vandanam, to offer our prayers. And prayers are essential in developing a relationship with the Supreme Lord. And it's just like when you talk to any person, when you speak to them in a meaningful way, it has a lot of potency, and it means something. It's not wasted words. There's a lot of prajalpa in the world, certainly, and people are talking in so many ways and on so many useless topics. But the most important thing is to be able to speak to your best friend, right? We all have experience that when you have a very good friend, you can reveal yourself in a more meaningful way, and what you exchange with that personality or those persons carries a lot of weight. And it becomes especially effective, as Prabhupada points out here, when the prayers are presented in a repentant way. And we have that history in our Vaishnava culture of devotees offering prayers, and it's one of the exchanges that has to be there between even devotees. Intimate discussions, confidential discussions. And in our own history, we hear from great souls like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where he so nicely describes in his songs and writings in Sharanagati, Mama Nivedena Shuno Vishay Dhurjana Sadakama Latakai. How does that line go? Mama Nivedena Shuno Vishay Dhurjana Sadakama Rata Vishuddham. I forget. I think Kichunahi Mora Guna, yeah. No, it's fine. Hmm? Yeah. In which he prays to Lord Gopinath, the Lord of the gopis, cowherd girls. He asks his Lord, please hear my prayer. He's praying that please listen to my prayer. I'm a wicked materialist. This is, and these are very profound realizations when we can understand that we're very fallen. Again, those prayers become very much more meaningful, and that I'm addicted to worldly desires. There's no question. We're in this material world, and we have these material bodies because we're addicted to material desires. We have so many aspirations. I want to become successful, or I want to reach this particular goal in life, or I want to go to such and such place for whatever reason. And that no good qualities do I possess. This is, again, it's very important that the prayers that one offers, or the outreach that one has to the Supreme Lord, it has to be done in a very meaningful way. And that it's not just, again, some show. As Prabhupada points out here, that the Lord responds to such repentant souls. The Jiva soul says, I take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, constitutionally, the Jiva soul is the subordinate servitor of the Supreme Lord. We know that, right? Jiva Swarupoy Nitya Krishna Das. We are eternally a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and we're eternally meant to be engaged in His service. And as stated in the Mundaka Upanishad, right? Va Suparna Sayuja Sakaya, that there are two birds sitting as friends. Not that one is dominating or trying to control or even obstruct the other. But there are two friends sitting, and one is partaking of this material nature, material desires, eating the fruit of the material world, and the other is simply witnessing. And what we can understand is that relationship is a very profound relationship, that it's eternal. Krishna is always sitting there. Upadrashnantu mantacha bhārta bhukta maheshvara. What is that? Paramatmeti chavyudeshmin purushakpara. He's sitting as the overseer, permitter, and he's allowing the living being to pursue his goals or aspirations. All the while, he's simply witnessing, and he sees exactly what how we're engaged, and we're allowed to continue as you like. But that other personality, he's a transcendental enjoyer. It's not that he's being entangled as the conditioned soul is. He's permitting, and he's at the same time he's allowing. If you want to engage in such and such works, then it'll be allowed. But it's not our natural position, as Prabhupada is pointing out here, that the constitutional position is to be as a subordinate servitor. That some or other the living being has become contaminated, and he has this material body, and because of that he Purushak Prakritisto, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he follows the ways of material nature. And of course the Mayavadis would like to think, as Prabhupada points out here, that because the Lord is there in the heart, he must also have a material form. But we understand from Shastra, Angani yasya sakalendriya brinti panti, pashanti panti kalayanti chanam jaganti, that Krishna, his body is transcendental. It's full of bliss and truth and substantiality. It's not contaminated or confused or confined or disturbed as the conditioned soul might be, or subject to the dualities of the material world. No. Instead, he is always there as a transcendental personality, and he's always there helping the conditioned soul, trying to advise him, just as a good friend would advise you to not do this or do that, or do in this way. So Krishna is always there, and he's prepared to give us advice, provided that we're repentant, as Prabhupada points out here. He's in the heart of every living being, and he can be realized by one who is repentant. Krishna is realized by one who's actually in the proper state of mind. Again, it's not that we can, let me try to enjoy a little bit here and a little bit there, and then I'll serve Krishna. No, that's not the process for receiving the mercy of the Lord. Instead, it has to be that that the individual soul is the servant, and that one should surrender onto that personality. Not that we try to be, as Prabhupada points out here, try to usurp the position of the Lord, or think that I can become one with Him, right? Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Mudamate. Shankaracharya writes that you fools and rascals, your grammatical words and your jugglery of prefixes and suffixes will not, and your mental speculation will not save you at the time of death. We can play with all kinds of words, and we see practically in the world that there are some individuals who are very, especially politicians anyway, are very expert at playing with words. And we're not interested in becoming a politician in our relationship with the Supreme Lord. No. That is foolish. That will not save one at the time of death. Instead, one should be thinking, how can I reveal and how can I express my sincerity in the proper way, in such a way that Krishna notices. I remember when in the evening Vishnu Swami would sing this beautiful song, Gopinath. Every night he would sing to Radha Damodar the last artik, and then afterwards he would put the deities to rest. And it's a song of such quality and sincerity. And by remembering what those great souls are offering, it has an impact. It certainly has an impact on an individual. To remember how we're full of material desires, we have materialistic intentions, we have no real good qualities. He sings in another prayer that my neck is bound by the noose of materialism. This is the fact, that we are bound by the noose of materialism in this material world. And so the devotee is praying that please take your sword of mercy and cut those bonds and make this person your humble servant. So it takes sincerity. And when one develops that in a proper way, as Prabhupada points out here, at that time he becomes a great soul. Therefore, a fortunate living being who comes to this understanding, even within the womb of his mother, has his liberation assured, just like we see in the example of Prahlad and Shukadeva Goswami, such great souls who, even within the womb, they were absorbed, their mind, their consciousness was absorbed in the glories of the personality of Godhead. Not like generally you find how the conditioned soul comes out of the womb and you see how bewildered they are. I can recall when my daughter was born, and when her head, I don't want to get too graphic, but when her head popped out and I looked around and you could see the bewildered and the shock of coming into the outer world after being confined, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, after being confined in this unbearable womb, which is unbearable. Some or other living being, he comes out and one is thinking, how did I get into this situation? Because I've forgotten you, I've come into this material world. And I'm now tightly bound by this unbearable womb, which Prabhupada comments that if we were to experience that now, we would surely die. But by material nature's arrangement, the living being is allowed, or you could say empowered enough to stay in that confined situation for months. And when one comes out, or in that situation, Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes how you appeared before me, he's speaking to the Lord, you appeared, but then you disappeared. Have you forgotten me? And so the living being comes out, as I personally witnessed it, they come out and they're totally bewildered and amazed by all of the surroundings, the sounds. Finally, there's a little bit of relief. So, and although in the womb one is thinking, oh, I will worship you, certainly, as soon as one comes out of the womb, it's all forgotten. Because one is overwhelmed by friends and relatives and all the interactions that are there between the child and relatives and friends, all of their laughing and joking and caricatures. You can see it, how a parent fondles the relatives, they fondle the child in so many different ways. And the living being becomes confused and forgetful. Forgets that a promise that we made within the womb. And instead follows the ways of material life and becomes educated and shortly is undivided in his intent to satisfy and serve the relatives and friends. And that way he forgets up until the old age, where one is weeping at death, that death is approaching. So what have I done? How have I passed my days in vain? So this condition is a reality that we all have to face. That what have I done? How have I passed my days? And what have I done to establish my relationship with the personality of Godhead? Have I become repentant? And am I able to offer meaningful prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And hopefully get His mercy. So this practice of offering prayers is so important in our practices, and they have to be done they should be done in a very meaningful way, so that Krishna will take notice. And are there any questions or comments? Yes, your turn, Gopinath.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. You mentioned just a moment ago how someone might be praying in the womb, oh, I'll be your servant in this life. But then afterwards they're so bewildered and actually they don't follow through with it. And similarly, we might be like chanting Hare Krishna, please engage me in your service, and then someone comes around that day, hey, can you do this thing? And then we don't want to do it. Can you talk about like the consequences of like misusing prayer, maybe? Like we're praying to Krishna that we'll be his servant if this happens, and then we don't follow through on our part of the bargain.
There's this old fable of a crying fox. I think that's what it's called. Where the chicken is, you're going to have to use a chicken, but the idea is that you're calling out, and when the time comes to be that someone is coming to help you, you turn it around and that you were just joking. That actually there wasn't any danger. And doing that repeatedly, it's unlikely that somebody's going to come and help you when the time comes that you really need help. It's just like when you call the police. We've called 911 here, from here, many a time for persons that have been troublemakers. And the technique is to, when you make that call, you make it very dramatic. Otherwise, they don't come. That's a fact. Otherwise, they don't come. If you just say, well, there's a guy out here who's, he has dirty feet, and he's saying something obnoxious, the chances of the police coming are very, very slim. But if you say that this person is coming to, that he's breaking something or that he hit someone, accosted someone, they'll come in a heartbeat. So we have to be mindful that when we're chanting Hare Krishna, we're asking Krishna, please come. Please come and engage me in your devotional service. And when that opportunity comes, you take advantage of it. Otherwise, all it is just an exercise. You're the loser. Ultimately, you're the loser. So when we practice Krishna consciousness, it's not just an exercise of your lungs or exercise of your body or your mind or something. No, it's meant to be, you're meant to be absorbed or focused. It's just like when Brigupati goes out on Sankirtan, it's not that when you go and talk to a conditioned soul that it's just some mechanical thing. There has to be some sincerity. There has to be some sincerity, some desire to help that conditioned soul. Otherwise, there's no response. There's no reaction. Anyone who goes out on Sankirtan can experience that. If you're just out there mechanically doing something, nobody pays attention. But when you start feeling it, then all of a sudden, a sincere person is attracted, comes into the picture. So our devotional service is like that. When it's sincere, then that devotional service becomes ecstatic. It becomes relishable. There's an experience. There's some reciprocation. Because Krishna is non-different than that yajna, right? We understand Krishna is non-different from that yajna, that sacrifice that you're engaged in. And Krishna is reciprocating. So or he's reciprocating through his holy name. So if you're not sincere about it, then there's no reciprocation. It's dry. Oh well, this is not for me. I have to go do something else. Let me go buy a Coca-Cola or something. So we have to be careful that in devotional service, one has to be very attentive. Just like we say every morning, the 10 offenses, to be inattentive. To be inattentive in the execution of your devotional service is an offense. Otherwise, why does Krishna have to respect that or respond? He doesn't have to. That would be my answer. Any other comments on that? Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you for a nice class, Naikatma Prabhu. I think another thing that's really important is that, when one comes to Krishna consciousness, you take initiation from a bona fide spiritual master. And that initiation is your ticket to develop sincerity and love for Krishna. Because without the mercy or the blessing of the Guru, it's not possible to come to Krishna consciousness. So I think another aspect of it would be that when one actually takes initiation, and that should be a very serious matter, and that one should understand the instruction of the spiritual master. And by that, Krishna is there in the heart, and by the mercy of the Guru, one receives the mercy of the of the Supreme Lord. So to become sincere, it takes us to become dedicated to the mission of the spiritual master and his instructions. And then automatically, one can see and perceive Krishna consciousness and become serious and make advancement.
Yeah, you're asking someone to put out for you. You're asking someone to take responsibility for your Krishna consciousness, your future. And then you turn around and do something else? What is that? It's not just signing a piece of paper and then I just go do whatever I want to do because I have other things. It doesn't make sense. You're in the wrong business. Go and find someone who can fulfill your material desires. You're in the wrong place. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There we go.